All right, turn now to Darryl Cohen, former assistant district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia. He's been tracking the case against Trump there. It's good to see you. I appreciate it. You've got a prosecutor here who hired her boyfriend, paid him $650,000 of taxpayer money. And at least he seems to have been untruthful under oath. We don't know whether she has. How is that not? How at this point is that even a decision about whether this rises to the level of prosecutorial misconduct in Georgia?
Well, this is not clear-cut. I wish it was. I like, as a former prosecutor and a defense lawyer, to have a very clear-cut situation. Fani has testified that she didn't begin to date him until after he was a special prosecutor. To me, that optic is terrible. It's bad for everybody. It's not professional. It may not be unethical, but it's not professional. But it doesn't change.
You and I may have different definitions of what ethics are, but to me, when you're a prosecutor, you're held to such a higher standard. The power that prosecutors have is enormous. You know this. You're a former prosecutor. You're a defense attorney. I don't understand how the mere appearance of impropriety isn't enough to disqualify somebody. And I'll turn this around. I'm wondering down in Georgia, because, look, there's a lot of people who are very angry at Donald Trump in Georgia, and rightfully so. The phone call with Brad Raffensperger, some of the things he's accused of doing, we have him on tape doing, are horrible. I mean, there's no other ways to say that. I'm wondering if there's not a lot of people who want to see Donald Trump prosecuted who aren't really angry at Fani Willis.
Again, it's not simple. I don't like the optics. I think that Fani used bad judgment at best to hire Nathan Wade, whose qualifications were thin at best. But she did it. It's stupid. It may be unethical. It's clearly unprofessional, but it doesn't mean she should be taken off the case. I think that the defense lawyers, some of them did a great job, others not so much, but they had Nathan Wade testifying, and I thought his testimony was not good. I'll be very honest with you. I thought that rather than answer yes and explaining it, he answered yes or no and didn't take away the gravitas from the questions, because if he had answered it and explained it, he would have cut them off at the knees, but he didn't do that. He gave them the opportunity to go on and on.
I'm going to play this. This is Nathan Wade. This is Fani Willis's boyfriend, talking about trips the two of them went on. The accusations are that some of the money that was paid from the county to Mr. Wade was then used to take Willis on trips. Here's his explanation. Take a listen.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you?
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
It was cash. She didn't give me checks.
Again, this is what I can't understand, because prosecutors should be held to a higher standard. If you are trying to allegedly be ethical and repay this money so there's no impropriety, why do you do it in the one method that you as a prosecutor know is untraceable in how criminals act?
Let me be honest with you. I think this was dumb, dumber, and dumbest. So my guess, and I can't get either of their heads, but my guess is when they did this, they never, ever expected this type of situation to occur. So they did it, and now they're trying to explain it away. But what I want to know is, how much money are we talking about? 200, 500, 10,000, 20,000? That makes a big difference. But it also makes a difference that it's not traceable, and you have to give credibility or not to each witness who testifies, this is what I did. And when Fani testified, she came in hot, and then she calmed down later. She and Ashley Merchant just went toe-to-toe, and they reminded me of two heavyweight fighters trying desperately to knock the other one out. Ashley Merchant would have won if she knocked out Fani, but I think it was basically a draw, which means to me that I don't think the judge is going to remove her. But the optics are terrible. But it doesn't stop here. It doesn't. It's going to, if she stays, and if Nathan Wade stays, they're going to be under a microscope for everything they do and everything they don't do until this case is over.
Well, and probably they should be.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.